Hello and welcome. Today I have 5 puzzles for you, and you can practice your pattern recognition by solving these puzzles. And if you're not familiar with pattern recognition, basically you want to solve a set of puzzles, and ideally you want to go over them more than once. That way you cement the patterns and tactics that you see into your long term memory. So pause at any time if you want to think longer so I don't give something away. I'm going to try and just do 5 puzzles today. These are rated 2,000 to, or they were played by 2,000 to 2,200 players. So these should be, expert level puzzles. Let's see here. Where do you begin? You want to look at the move your opponent just played. So they drop back here with the bishop guarding the promotion square. So it looks like we can stop this pawn, and we need to try and get some pawns over here, this pawn majority moving. So I'm thinking we just push forward here. If they capture, then we recapture, and we start moving these pawns up. And generally, you want to keep the pawns. Now, feel free to leave comments if I have this incorrect, but I believe you want to, if you have this bishop here on the light squares, you want to kind of keep your pawns on the light squares as they're moving up towards the end to the promotion squares. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to push. If they capture, we capture, and then we do not want to move this pawn because then the opponent can just block and there's no way to make progress. So we're going to go here, capture, capture. Then we're just going to try and push this way. So here we go. And now, I was that was interesting. They came up behind the pawn. We definitely, once again, do not want to go here because the opponent could just move on to the light squares. So we want to keep our pawns on the light squares. And if he captures one of them, we can promote with the other one. All right, so hopefully that pattern was instructional. On to puzzle number 2. Okay, what do we have here in this messy position? A knight is just captured, so let's look at the material. We have 3, 4, 5 pawns. The opponent has 6, so we're down a pawn. We have the bishop pair, 2 rooks, and the queen. They have the bishop pair, 2 rooks, and a queen. So I think they've captured a piece there, maybe. The ideal move is to either probably capture with, well, one of our 3 pieces can capture. Which one would be best is the question. And before we just automatically recapture, perhaps we have something better. All right. Well, hopefully you found the answer. Pause if you need to think longer. Okay. I'm thinking if we look at checks, captures, and threats in that order, checks first is their most forcing. We have this move here where we capture, and if the queen wasn't protecting that bishop, we could deliver a mate on the next move. So how can we exploit that in the best way? We also have to watch out because they have this check, and if our king would try to run, they could, well, I guess maybe they can't do anything there. All right, let's take a look at this. If we capture the pawn with check, of course, if the king just moves, and remember, when a piece is checking the king, 3 options: capture, block, or run. So If we capture this pawn and the king runs, we can't deliver the mate because of the queen covering that. So maybe we could go there and attack the queen, but like I said, there's this option. If we take time to just capture this way, then the opponent can... Well, I think we have to go there first, so I'm going to at least do that. And then now we probably need to take that knight out, but what is the best way? Let's see. And maybe there's this other option. We could take that. I don't know if I like that, though, because if the rook took... if we go there, then we're going to have problems with that. So maybe we should just knock that knight out of there. If we take time to capture this knight, well, then the rook will probably go here. Well, maybe, because there's this that they have to watch out for. So, what way to capture that knight is best? And is there some crazy little trick? No, I don't see anything. I think we have to go after the knight. But what is the best way to do that? If we take with the rook, then there could be checks down here on the back rank. So maybe we go that way. No, they don't like that. All right, and I had a viewer bring up a very good point. He felt that whenever something's incorrect like this, I should go over the analysis. So we'll have to make sure I pull up the analysis afterwards. What about this move? No, they don't like that. Okay. Do they want us to immediately go there? Huh. Now, why didn't they just go here? Because that delivers a check. I mean, now we can just take the queen. So we do have a few things to analyze here. So let me pull up the analysis. All right. Knight takes. We capture with check. The king has to run. And bishop to e5 is what they wanted. So why? Oh, I guess if... Well, if they do that, do they even show that move? Bishop takes e4, the game would just be even, because then they think rook to f8. Oh, attacking. They'd have time to attack the queen. Oh, wow. And then when the queen moves, they could start attacking here with the rook protecting the queen. So this move is a little bit better. If the rook captures, then once again you're going to have rook to f8. So they say bishop to e5 is best. But, all right, let's take a look at, I don't know, this move, I guess. They recommend rook to f8. Queen takes g7. Huh. Queen takes. Now, oh, the pin. Bishop to e5. Queen takes e5. We capture. And after all that, we're only ahead a little bit. I mean, what do we have? 5 pawns. They have 5, some materials even, but we have an attack on this bishop. All right, so back to what happened in the game. They liked that move the best and they captured. Now, why didn't they go here? Queen takes f2. So after that move, the queen would be forced to capture. The knight would have to capture. And then looks like the best thing to do would be to just trade material down. That's why. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully you figured that out a little bit better than what I did. And on to puzzle 3. Okay. What just happened? The rook has moved to the center, targeting our rook, which is protected by the knight. So we have a pin. Can we use that to our advantage? I think so. I think we can just, when you have a pinned piece, you just want to add more pressure to it. So if we go here, we have 2 attackers. They only have 1 defender, the king. So they would have to move the other rook in there. We could go after this pawn, attacking the rook. The rook would move over. And then we could move here and fork both of those pieces. So I think that, oh, they don't even try. They just run away. So there we go. They simplified that. Okay, on to puzzle number 4. Queen has just captured a pawn, I believe. And can we trap that queen? That is the question. All right, first, if we take a look at material, has anything even been traded? Nothing. So that's the first piece or pawn to be captured. So I think we can just go here to attack the queen. What's another option? The bishop here, but then the queen could just retreat, like, I don't know, all the way back maybe. Huh. So we attack the queen with the rook. The only option is here, so that is a pretty forcing move. But how do we continue? Because now, even if we bring our rook up to b6, the queen could go all the way up to here. Huh. So I don't know. What else do we have here? Excuse me. Do we have another kind of attack with the knight? Oh, wow. Maybe we can do that? I don't know if that works. So there's a lot. Okay, first, before we look at that, let's look at that. When we go there, the queen, that's really forcing. So the queen has to go there. Then maybe we jump the knight up here, attacking the queen. Where can the queen go? The only move, oh, I think that's it, is there. And then we can fork the king and the queen. Oh, okay. I didn't even look at that move. All right. Well, now does that trap the queen as well? Because now we can just go there. If he goes here, we can attack with the bishop. Huh, so he doesn't even want to do that. All right. Well, I hope you found that. And on to the final problem, puzzle number 5. The because I said I would do 5 because these they usually take longer for these more difficult puzzles once they start getting up to expert level, which I don't know if I said advanced. These are expert level puzzles from 2,000 to 2,200 players. And then in the future, maybe tomorrow, or well, not tomorrow, but in the next few days, I'll have some master level puzzles as well if these are still too easy for you. Okay, what happened here? The knight has jumped forward onto this outpost. It's targeting our bishop. We have this far advanced pawn, so if we could get a queen there, with something like this, but they could block that. If they do, though, we would be able to take this. So maybe, another little option is we go there. Or, I don't know, we could castle to the queen side and use the rook to pin the knight, but then of course that queen could just move somewhere. I don't know. The most forcing continuation, I think, is to go here. Because what can they do to stop that? If they block with the queen, we can just take. Or if they block with the knight, we can just take here. They'll capture, and then the bishop captures, and we're ahead material. So I think that's best. They would have to block with the pawn. We can capture. But I should have counted up the material. We have 6 pawns. Our opponent has the same number. We have equal material here. So if we go there, they block. We take with check. The only thing they can do is block with their rook. And then we can add more pressure with our knight. But the problem is, we might be able to take their knight. Okay, let's just play this out. I'm going to go here. We're going to take. So he decided to run. I don't know if I like that. Well, now if we capture with the bishop, he has multiple options. Okay, I guess we could just castle to the queen side. But if we do that, well, that pins the knight to his queen. All right, I think we have to do that. Because now we have 2 attackers. He only has 1 defender on that knight there. And if he moves the knight, well, where does he put it? I guess he could go there, attacking. Then what do we do? We're ahead. I don't know. Let's pull up the analysis. So, all right, let me go back to the beginning. At this point, this was played, and that was the mistake. So queen d5 is best. Block. Take with check. King goes to h8. Castling queenside. How do you follow up here? Oh, you have knight Well, they say knight to f4, jumping forward, or c7. Huh. I guess there's maybe this threat as well of trying to jump the knight up and then go here forking after this queen moves off of here. So what do they recommend is best? If you play that move, now what? Queen to e4 just attacks that knight. So that's not the greatest thing. Queen to e4. Queen would have to defend that knight. So how do they recommend doing it? Bishop to d6. I don't know about that. Now you just add more pressure to that. Knight to e2 check. King runs. Take. Take. Queen to c. Wait a minute. Queen to c7. Okay, yeah. You just end up ahead in material. All right. Well, I'll wrap it up there. Hopefully you did well on these puzzles. Let me get off of here. So that was rated or played by a 2150 level player. Okay. Feel free to leave comments as always. Like and subscribe to support the channel. Also check out some of the other videos that I have on my channel. I think I've, over 1,100 videos that have been recorded over 2.5 years or more. So thank you for watching and have a super chess day.